And for North Penn, starting in goal, senior number 1,
Hello and welcome into the Rick Carroll Natatorium for girls water polo action for the state tournament between the North Penn Knights and Governor Mifflin Mustangs. For North Penn Television, I'm Jake Loberg bringing you all the action here on 28 Comcast, 29 Verizon, and on YouTube Live at NPTV. We thank you for joining us here as North Penn, the number 1 seed, takes on the number 4 seed, Governor Mifflin. The winner of this game will go on to the state championship game, and they will face either Cumberland Valley or Wilson, and that game will take place right after this one. But first on the list, North Penn coming in at number 1. It's going to be a very physical game between the Knights and the Mustangs. As North Penn takes the pool, we'll wait for the Mustangs. Now we're getting ready for the swim off end. Here we go in this game for the semifinal state tournament game, and North Penn wins the swim off. It's back to Gillespie. Gillespie passing over to 16 Muth. Muth down to Zartman. Zartman will maintain possession. She'll send it back to Gillespie. Gillespie with 11 on the shot clock, sends it down low to Maeve Wyden in the slot, and she's going to lose it to the goaltender Weiss. And now Weiss passing it up to start the rush for the Mustangs. She's going to send it to number 8, Noggle. Noggle sends it to the center. That's Steckel, swarmed by Gillespie, and Gillespie takes over possession for the Knights. Kerper was also in the area on the defensive play. And now Rivera sends it down to number 2, Tham. Tham then puts it into the corner for Muth. Muth sends it back to Tham. Tham back to Muth. Muth to the center for Kerper. Kerper fighting out the defense. It looks like a free shot for Kerper. And Kerper's going to actually leave it off for Wyden for a 5-meter shot. And Wyden takes a shot, and she scores. Maeve Wyden strikes early for the Knights with 5:54 left to go in this first quarter. And now Governor Mifflin to start their rush, swarmed immediately by Gillespie. But Governor Mifflin will continue with possession. He'll pass it up to Steckel. Steckel defended by Wyden. She's going to send it back to number 8, Noggle, but she's defended by Gillespie. And North Penn's taken off 20 seconds off the shot clock, and Governor Mifflin's yet to enter the zone. And now they send it up to Hubrick. And over to Enriquez. She's got 2 seconds on the shot. Quick shot, and Rivera with the left right-handed save to keep the Knights up by 1. And now it's going to be Steckel to resume action for the Mustangs. She'll pass it over to Tice. Now she sends it back to Noggle. Noggle defended by Tham. And she'll get it over to Jones. Correction, Tice. She then puts it to the center. And Enriquez will continue with possession. She'll send it over to Noggle. Noggle's going to lose it to Gillespie. Actually, Zartman And Zartman then sends it over to Muth. Muth back to Rivera. And the Knights take over possession with 4:52 left to go in the first quarter. Knights up 1-0. And Rivera passes down to Wyden. Wyden sends it over to Muth. Muth sends it down to the corner to Tham. Tham crosses all the way back, intended for Gillespie. It's going to be blocked by Enriquez. And now she'll look to take possession over and begin a rush for the Mustangs. She'll send it over to Noggle. Noggle takes a shot, and Rivera, another right-handed save for the senior goaltender to keep the Knights up 1-0, her second save of the contest. And Enriquez will resume action for the Mustangs. She'll send it back to number 14, Gerhard, and she'll send it over to Noggle. Noggle defended by Tham, but Mustangs maintain possession. She's going to send a shot just wide of the net and out of play. Rivera to resume action for the Knights with 4:04 to go in the first quarter. She's going to pass down the pool to Muth. Muth's going to slam on the brakes and then sends it over to Kerper. Kerper sends it over to Zartman. Zartman down to Gillespie. At the wing, she sends it towards the slender, Wyden. Wyden takes the shot, and she hits the crossbar, and Muth gets the rebound, but she's cut off by Hubrick, and they're going to send it back to the goaltender, Weiss. And Weiss maintains possession at her net, now tossing it all the way down the pool to Tice. Tice sends it to the center, that's Steckel. She's going to send it back to the point for Hubrick. Hubrick sends it over to the winger. That's Enriquez. Enriquez maintaining possession. She's going to cross it. Intercepted by Zartman. And the Knights take over as the shot clock expired. Rivera for the Knights. Rivera passes up to Zartman. Zartman down to Wyden. Wyden to the center for Kerper. And North Penn's going to maintain possession as Kerper passes over to Muth. Muth back to Gillespie. Gillespie pump fakes. And she's going to leave it off to Zartman. Zartman over to Kerper. Kerper to Wyden. Wyden drops the ball. She's going to get back to Zartman. Zartman to Kerper. Kerper the shot, and she scores. North Penn now up 2-0 with 2:28 to go in the first quarter. So North Penn's been very aggressive so far early on in this first quarter, and it's shown on the scoreboard. They're up 2-0 over the Mustangs. And here's Tham already defending Noggle. Noggle's going to have to dump it to the middle of the pool and hope that Hubrick can catch up with it. That was actually Courtney Hubrick. Passing it back to Noggle. Noggle deep in her own zone, tossing it down the pool, and it's going to be taken away by the Knights. And it's going to be Gillespie for North Penn with the steal as we approach the 2-minute point. North Penn still up 2-0. Gillespie over to Zartman. Zartman down to number 14, Wyden. Wyden sends it to Kerper at the center, takes a shot, and she gets her second of the contest. Maddie Kerper puts North Penn up 3-0 with 1:51 to go in the first quarter. And now Steckel passing to Noggle, defended once again by Tham. Noggle passing it all the way down to number 11, that's Tice. Defended by Daly. She's going to drop it off to Gerhard. Gerhard does a lob shot just wide of the net, and Rivera to get the possession for the Knights and to pass it down the pool to Zartman. Zartman's going to slam on the brakes and pass it over to Kerper. Kerper back to Zartman. Zartman to continue with possession. She'll pass it to the center for Wyden, but they're going to lose possession, and they turn it over to Weiss, the goaltender for the Mustangs. And Weiss passing all the way down to Tice. Tice defended by Daly. She'll send it to number 14, Gerhard. And Gerhard's going to send it back to Nagel. Nagel sends it over to the winger. Takes a shot, and she gets to the top left corner. Number 14, Emily Gerhard, puts the Mustangs on the board. 52 seconds to go in the first quarter. And Gillespie to start for the Knights. She'll get it down to Tham. Tham over to Zartman. Zartman to the center for Kerper. Kerper takes a lob shot, hits the crossbar, and it's going to be recovered by Weiss. And Weiss, lob pass down to number 14, Gerhard. Gerhard swarmed by Daly. She'll maintain possession for the Mustangs. About 3 seconds separating the shot clock and game clock. As the Mustangs continue with possession, it's Nagel. Nagel swarmed by Zartman, and North Penn takes over possession. Shot clock unplugged. They have 10 seconds to work with, and Rivera now down 2-5. Rivera's going to take it herself. And one last shot, a lob shot just high and over the net. And that wraps up quarter number 1. North Penn in the lead, 3-1. So goals for the Knights. Maeve Wyden started it off at 5:54 left to go in the first quarter. And she scored the first goal for the Knights. And then it was Maddie Kerper striking at 2:28 and 1:51. Following that, Gerhard with 52 seconds to go in the first quarter. And that wrapped up quarter number 1 in the semifinal games between Knights and Mustangs. As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, this game, the winner of this game will go to the championship versus either Cumberland Valley or Wilson. That game to be played at 11:30 today at the Rick Carroll Natatorium. So now as the intermission expires, the teams go out. Getting ready for the second swim off. North Penn won it the first time. We'll see how the Knights fare in the second swim off as they retake the pool. And the starters back out for the Knights. Tham, Gillespie, Kerper, Wyden, Zartman, and Daly with Rivera in net. Side, it's going to be Enriquez, Steckel, along with Gerhard, Nagel, Kubrick, and Tice with Weiss in net. And this time, Governor Mifflin wins the swim-off, and it's going to be Nagel for the Mustangs, passing it down to the winger. It's Kubrick. She's going to send it back to Tice. Tice is going to cross it to number 8, Nagel. Nagel down. Her pass is intercepted by Tham, trying to get to the winger. That was 14, Gerhard. But Tham gets in the way of the pass attempt, and Rosalinda Rivera to pass up to Wyden. with 6:30 to go in this second quarter. Wyden's pass over to Daly. A race for possession. Daly gets it, and North Penn do maintain possession. Goalie out of the net. That's Weiss as she tried to get possession. And Daly came up with the leading edge. And now she'll pass back to Gillespie. North Penn will continue with possession. Gillespie passing to Wyden. Wyden down to Tham. Tham to Kerper in the center position. And Nagel's going to be kicked out. And Kerper to Gillespie. Gillespie moving forward, pump fakes. Now she's going to feed Wyden. Pass is intercepted. And they're going to dump it into the corner. That was Tice with the interception. And Gerhard's going to send it back to Weiss. And North Penn unable to capitalize on their man-up opportunity. And now the Mustangs look to go the other way. It's number 7, Enriquez, passing over to Hubrick. And now North Penn takes over possession. It looks like that was Gillespie with the coverage for the Knights, passing back to Rivera. Rivera's going to pass back to Gillespie. Gillespie over to Daly. Daly to continue possession for the Knights. She'll send it back to Zartman. Zartman back to Daly. Daly takes the shot, blocked by Weiss. They keep their margin by 2. Weiss now has it for the Mustangs. Weiss now passes up to Nagel. Nagel for the Mustangs with 5:04 left to go in the first half. Knights up 3-1. Nagel passing intended for the centerman, but instead Gillespie ends up with it, and Gillespie now has it for the Knights. Gillespie passes up to Daly. Daly and the Knights will continue with possession. Daly looking for an outlet pass. She has 12 seconds to work with on the shot clock, and it's Gillespie back to Daly. Daly can't get the pass, and Nagel ends up with it. And with 4:30 to go in the first half, North Penn still up 3-1. Weiss has it for the Mustangs. Weiss passing up to Hubrick. Hubrick's going to feed the centerman. That's Gerhard. She passes back to Nagel. Nagel's pass is into open waters, and Gillespie comes up with it for North Penn. Gillespie passing down to Daly. Daly for the Knights. She's going to feed Kerper in the center. And now a 5-meter shot for Maddie Kerper. And she's going to leave it off to Maeve Wyden. If you remember back to the first quarter, this is when Maeve Wyden got her first goal. Let's see what happens here for Wyden. And the shot by Wyden hits the crossbar. The third shot by the Knights to hit the crossbar. And the Mustangs take over. It's Courtney Hubrick for the Mustangs. And now she'll pass down to her winger. It's Enriquez. And Enriquez has it for the Mustangs. Passing back to number 11, Tice. And now over to Nagel, takes the shot, and Rivera tips it into her own net. They now lead 3-2 over the Knights. The Knights lead 3-2 over the Mustangs. So with 3:31 left to go in this first half, North Penn now leads 3-2 after 2 unanswered goals by the Mustangs, and then Zartman now feeding number 5 for the Knights. That's Voss. And now the Knights turn it over to the Mustangs. And they're going to pass all the way down the pool to 14. That's Gerhard. Mustangs will continue with possession. And now she passes Weiss. And Rivera makes the save. Kerper tips it back to Rivera, and they look to start a new drive for the Knights. Third save for Rivera. And Rivera now passing down the pool to Gillespie. And Gillespie will continue with possession over to Daly. Daly down to Kerper. Kerper feeds the centerman, Pham. And Mustangs will be kicked out. Quick shot, hits the crossbar. Fourth shot attempt by the Knights. It's hit the crossbar, and they're unable to capitalize on the man-up opportunity. And now the Mustangs dump it into the corner. And it's going to be Cameron Hubrick taking over for the Mustangs. Her pass is intercepted by Voss, and Voss looks to take over for North Penn. Voss is going to feed it to Gillespie. Gillespie to continue with possession. She'll send it over to Kerper. Kerper into the center for Pham. Tipped free by Noggle, and they're going to send it back to Weiss. And Weiss to feed it all the way up to Hubrick. Hubrick down to 14, Gerhard. And Gerhard to continue with possession. She has 9 seconds to go on the shot clock, minute 30 to go on the game clock. She'll feed Noggle. Noggle takes the shot, and it's wide and out of bounds. North Penn takes over. And it's going to be Rivera for the Knights. She's going to send it up to Pham. Pham over to Muth. Muth feeds Kerper in the center position. She'll get it back to Muth. And Muth to continue with possession over to Pham. Now down to Kerper. Kerper not expecting the pass, and it's tipped by Hubrick, and Mustangs take over. It's going to be Gerhard passing over to Noggle. Noggle still has it defended by the Knights. She'll send a pass down, tipped by Zartman. And Rivera comes up with it. They've got 35 on the game clock before halftime. And Rivera over to Pham. Pham being pushed to the wall. And now the Mustangs take over. It's going to be McMahon. So McMahon, shot clock unplugged, 18 to go in the game, first half. She'll pass down to Hubrick, back to McMahon. And she'll send it into the center of the pool instead of from Noggle, and the Knights take over. They have 7 seconds to work with, and it's going to be Voss passing to Zartman, down to Rosalinda Rivera. She fans on the shot attempt, and the Mustangs come up with it and cannot get a shot off in time. And that's going to wrap up this first half. North Penn in the lead, 3-2. So that second quarter was all Mustangs as they put up the only goal by Noggle with 3:31 to go in the second quarter. And the score is now 3-2. Knights still in the lead as we approach halftime. So first half summary of goals for the Knights. They kick things off in the first quarter with 5:54 to go, with Maeve White striking on the 5-meter. And then Maddie Kerper put 2 goals up back-to-back with 2:28 to go in the first quarter, following that at 1:51. And then to end the first quarter, Gerhard for the Mustangs put one up with 52 seconds left, and that was 3-1 at the end of one. And then in the second quarter, Noggle, the only goal scorer for the Mustangs, well, for either team actually. And she scored with 3:31 to go in the second quarter. So now we'll look at these goals. As I just mentioned, the goal scorers. Let's take a look. Maeve Wyden, the first goal scorer on the 5-meter shot. Following that, Maddie Kerper struck her first goal and then her second one. And then it was Gerhard for the Mustangs. Following that was Nagel. And so North Penn up 3-2 at the end of 2. So far, Rivera has 3 saves and Weiss has 1. And North Penn, you can see on your shot, that's the boys water polo team. They won states last week at Wilson, defeating Wilson 10-6 in the championship game. And that's the first championship since 2007. And the Knights, the North Penn girls water polo team, looking to follow up the boys championship win and get one of their own. And so North Penn, they've done well in the first half. They've had 4 shots that have hit the crossbar. So if they can correct some of those mistakes and get them on net and on Weiss, they could be up by potentially 4 more goals in this contest. But nonetheless, we stand at 3-2 at halftime. You see Coach Grubb, the coach for the Knights, both water polo teams. He's in the white polo. He led the boys to their state championship title, looking to do the same for the girls. As North Penn retakes the pool, waiting on the Mustangs to commence the 3rd quarter. Now Maeve Wyden, number 14, she's in your shot. One of the captains for the Knights, and she's already up 1 goal in the semifinals. Shot, another senior for the Knights. Zarman looking to get ready for the swim off for the Knights. Now both teams retake the pool as we get set for the 3rd quarter swim-off between Knights and Mustangs. North Penn up 3-2 in the semifinal game. And here's Zartman versing Steckel for the swim-off. And Zartman's going to win it for the Knights. She'll pass back to number 24 for the Knights, who passes over to Gillespie. That was Kaylin Daly for North Penn. Daly gets it back from Gillespie. She now sends it down to Zartman, the winger for the Knights. And Zartman to Daly. Daly to the center for Wyden. Wyden can't come up with it, and the Mustangs take over. And it's going to be Gerhard passing over to Hubrick. Hubrick down to Tice. Tice to the center. Quick shot, and Rivera makes another save. 4 saves on the contest for Rosalinda Rivera, the senior goaltender for the Knights. And now she'll pass up to Kerper. Kerper down to Tham. Pham to the center for Daly, and she's cut off by Steckel, and now Steckel's going to be kicked out. And North Penn to continue with possession. And it's going to be Kerper to resume action for the Knights. And Kerper over to Wyden. Wyden sends it back to Daly. Daly over to Kerper. Kerper takes a shot, deflected off of Hubrick and into the net. Maddie Kerper has a hat trick as she puts the Knights up 4-2 with 5:49 to go in this third quarter. So 5:49 left to go in the third quarter. Maddie Kerper strikes to put the Knights up 4-2. And Noggle for the Mustangs looks to regroup and strike back as they dump it to their winger, Hubrick. Hubrick for the Mustangs, swarmed by Zartman. That was actually Gillespie on coverage. And she'll feed it to the center. Now back out to Hubrick. She'll send it across to the winger, and she'll try a tip-in shot, but it's blocked by Daly, and Rivera gets possession for the Knights. Rivera up to Kerper. Kerper down to Gillespie. And Gillespie will maintain possession for the Knights. Back to Kerper. And to the center for Wyden. Wyden takes a backhanded shot, and she doesn't get enough on it. And Weiss knocks that shot down with 4:55 to go in the third quarter. Weiss with her second save on the contest. And now the Mustangs look to resume play. Gerhard loses possession to Daly. And Daly looking to move up pool for the Knights. Daly's going to pass it back to Wyden. Wyden to continue with possession. She'll dump it to her winger, Gillespie, taken away by number 11, Tice. And the Mustangs look to go the other way. Tice is going to send it to her winger. Now to the center, quick tip-in goal for number 14, Gerhard. She gets her second on the contest, and with 4:09 to go, North Penn in the lead, 4-3. And now Gillespie for the Knights. And now Steckel is going to be kicked out as she thought she had possession and maintained the possession. And now the Knights get a man-up opportunity, and Wyden has it for North Penn. She'll send it back to Gillespie. Gillespie pump fakes. And she'll send it back to Wyden. Wyden. She enters closer, takes a shot, and she scores. And North Penn made Wyden strikes for the Knights, and now lead 5-3 with 3:43 to go in this third quarter. So after only one goal being scored in the second quarter, both teams have struck in the third quarter. North Penn has put up 2, Mustangs 1. So 3:49 to go in the third quarter. 5-3 the score, North Penn in the lead. And now Noggle to resume action for the Mustangs, defended by Pham. And she's pushed back deep into her own territory. And they'll continue with possession. And now Pham's going to be kicked out. And a man-up opportunity for the Mustangs. Timeout called by North Penn. So an action-packed third quarter between Knights and Mustangs. North Penn in the lead by 2. And the goal scorers in the third quarter have been Kerper, Gerhard, and Wyden. Kerper getting a hat trick, Wyden getting her second, as well as Gerhard getting her second to put the score at 5-3. And so save so far. Rivera has 4 for the Knights. Weiss has 2. And North Penn gaining some momentum as they're forcing more turnovers and able to capitalize on more opportunities. We'll see if they can maintain that play after the timeout. Here's Wyden's last goal on the replay. And she was able to beat Weiss on the near side of the net. And tucked it in to give North Penn 5-3 on the scoreboard. A 5-3 lead on the scoreboard. And now Weiss to start with possession. Over to 11, Tice. Tice to her winger. And she'll send it cross pool. Back to Tice. And over to the winger once again. Takes a shot, blocked by Kerper. The rebound opportunity, and she puts it home. That was Gerhard getting her 3rd goal of the contest. 5-4 now the score with 3:23 to go in this 3rd quarter. And so Kerper blocked the first shot attempt, and then Gerhard slams home the rebound to put another goal up for the Mustangs. And now North Penn has it. Muth passing up to number 5, Voss. Voss back to Muth. Muth's going to cross it to Daly, intercepted, and the Mustangs take over. And it's going to be Hubrick on the pass was intended to McMahon. She wasn't expecting it, and Daly comes up with it, passing it back to Rivera. And 2:47 left to go in the 3rd quarter. 5-4 the score as Rivera passing up to Muth. Muth down to Wyden. Wyden to the center for Tham. Tham gets it, and then poke checked free. And the Mustangs take over. Weiss has it for the Mustangs. And she'll pass it down to Tice. Tice over to Noggle. Noggle down to Hubrick. Hubrick to the center position, knocked down by Wyden. But the Mustangs will continue with possession. And she'll send it back to Hubrick. Hubrick's going to dump it off to Tice. Tice takes a long shot, saved by Rivera. 5th save of the contest for the senior goaltender. And she'll look to ignite the offense for the Knights. And Rivera's going to toss it down to Voss. Voss down to Muth. And North Penn will continue with possession. They have 7 seconds to work with on the shot clock. And she'll send it back to Kerper. Now under 5. Pump fakes. And she can't get the shot off in time. They turn it over to the Mustangs with 1:35 to go in the 3rd quarter. And they're going to feed Hubrick, but Daly gets there first to take away possession. And Daly to take it away for the Knights. And now timeout called by the Knights. And 1:27 left to go in the 3rd quarter between Knights and Mustangs. And here's the last goal by Governor Mifflin. And it was Gerhard after deflection from Kerper. Gerhard able to get the rebound and knock it home. And that put the Knights lead down to 1. They lead 5-4 over the Mustangs. So a big crowd here at the Rick Carroll Natatorium from both sides. North Penn and Governor Mifflin in the semifinals game. The winner will advance to the championship versus either Cumberland Valley or Wilson. So now the Knights will look to start with possession with 1:27 to go in the third quarter. And that's going to be Rivera for the Knights to kick things off. Rivera passing up to Zartman. Zartman over to Gillespie. And Gillespie will continue with possession for North Penn. She'll send it back to Daly. Daly back over to Gillespie. And Gillespie to continue with possession. She'll send it to the center, Kerper. And Kerper is gonna free shot, takes a bounce shot off the water, and it's just out of play. Mustangs take over with a minute to go in the third quarter. Now it's Tice passing down to Hubrick. And she's cut off by Zartman, and Zartman takes possession away. And North Penn now has it. It's Rivera. Rivera sending it down to Kerper. Kerper back to Tham. And now Nagel's going to get kicked out, and it's going to be Kerper. Passing over to Gillespie. Gillespie sends it to Zartman. Zartman down to Kerper. Kerper's going to cross it to Wyden, just too far. And Wyden's at the regroup to catch up with it. Wyden to Zartman. Zartman over to Kerper. Kerper takes a shot, blocked, and out of bounds. Blocked by number 12, McMahon. And now shot clock unplugged. Mustangs have 10 seconds to work with. Now down to 5. She'll feed Nagel. Nagel defended by Gillespie. Has to take a quick shot here. And time expires as she took the shot. Shot wouldn't have counted anyway. So going into the fourth quarter, North Penn up 5-4. And goals in the third quarter scored by Kerper, Gerhard, Wyden, and Gerhard getting her second of the quarter. So both Kerper and Gerhard both have hat tricks for the Knights and Mustangs. As we enter the fourth quarter. So with this being the semifinal game, the winner will go to the state championship game between either Wilson or Cumberland Valley. And the team that both teams will to play in the state championship, the game will be decided after this one as either the Knights or Mustangs or Cumberland Valley or Wilson. Now in the pool, Wilson and Cumberland Valley in the pool warming up for their game coming up at 11:30. And some stats so far for this game between Governor Mifflin and North Penn. Rivera has 5 saves and Weiss has 2. Wyden has 2 goals, Kerper has 3, Gerhard has 3, and then Nagel has 1. That's how we stand at 5-4 between Knights and Mustangs as we break from the third quarter intermission, heading into the 4th quarter. North Penn up by 1 as we get ready for the swim off. So it's going to be Enriquez versus Zartman in the swim-off. Zartman won the 3rd quarter swim-off for the Knights. Let's see what's happened here as it's Zartman versus Enriquez. And it's going to be Zartman knocking it over to Tham. Tham back to Gillespie. And the Knights start this 4th quarter with possession. And Gillespie for the Knights defended well by McNahan. And she's now going to feed it down to Kerper. Kerper to continue with possession. Kerper down to Daly. Daly back to Kerper. And Kerper to the center position to Tham. And Tham has an open net, and she puts it home. North Penn up 6-4 now as she beats Weiss and for the first goal in this 4th quarter. And now Governor Mifflin to start with possession. Tice feeding the winger. And she's cut off by Wyden, and Wyden takes possession for the Knights. She stole it from Navanai. And now Wyden feeds it over to Rivera. And Rivera from North Penn hanging on to it. Now sends it up to Wyden. Wyden to continue with possession. Down to Daly. And Daly back to Wyden. Wyden to the center for Kerper, and it's knocked free by Nagel, and Weiss comes out to take it away. Mustangs take over possession. And now Weiss feeding it up to Tice. Under 6 minutes to go in 4th quarter action. 6-4 the score, Knights in the lead. Nagel has it for the Mustangs. Nagel to continue with possession. Takes the shot, and Rivera with the save. The Mustangs turned it over before the shot was taken. And so now Rivera to toss it down to Zartman. Zartman back to Tham. Tham to the center for Kerper. Kerper has to catch up with it. She has possession, and she'll continue with possession. Kerper looking for a pass. And it's taken away by Nagel. And she'll send it back to Weiss. And Weiss is going to toss it up to Tice. Tice down to the center. And they turn it over to the Knights. So 5 minutes to go in this game. 6-4 the score, North Penn in the lead as Rivera has it for the Knights. Rivera tossing it down to Daly. And now the Knights turn it over to the Mustangs. And it's going to be Tice sending it down to number 14. That's Gerhard. She already has 3 goals in the game. She'll toss it back to Tice. And Tice sending it over. And now North Penn takes over possession. And it's going to be Zartman giving it to Rivera to restart this drive for North Penn. And Rivera tossing it down to Wyden. Wyden down to Daly. Daly tips it and has to catch up with it. Pinned into the corner and then overtaken by Tice. Mustangs call the timeout as they take possession. So with 4:09 to go in this game, 6-4 the score, Mustangs called the timeout. So Claudia Tham, the only goal scorer for the Knights in this fourth quarter so far, and she scored with 6:34 to go in the fourth quarter to give the Knights the 2-point lead. And here's the replay of Tham's goal. She just gets by the goaltender and knocks it free as Weiss was out of her net. And that put the Knights up by 2. So now Weiss will kick things off for the Mustangs. And she'll pass over to Tice. Tice now down low to McMahon. Actually, that was Steckel, and Zartman overtakes her and retakes possession, and she'll send it off to Rivera. Rivera for the Knights. She'll send it down to Zartman. Zartman looking for an outlet pass. She finds Tham. And North Penn will continue with possession. Tham sends it over to Wyden. Wyden back to Tham. And Tham then loses it to Steckel. And the Mustangs look to go the other way. And they'll continue with possession. And Steckel for the Mustangs. She'll pass it up to 11, Tice. And Tice passes back to Steckel. And Mustangs will continue with possession. She'll send it back to the point. And a quick shot by Nagel, and she puts it in the net as she beats Rivera. 6-5 to score with 3:02 left to go in this game. Nagel gets her second goal of the contest. And there's the goal by Nagel as Rosalinda Rivera was screened and didn't see it coming. And now Gillespie sends it over to Zartman for the Knights. Zartman down to Wyden. And Wyden to continue with possession for the Knights. They send it back to Zartman, back to Wyden. And now a quick shot, and she scores. But there was an ejection first. And so North Penn will have the man-up opportunity. It's Zartman for the Knights. Over to Daly. Daly to Wyden. Wyden creeping forward, takes a quick shot. Quick pass over to Muth, and Muth takes the shot to put the Knights up by 2, 7-5 to score, as Muth beat Weiss on the shot attempt. 2:30 to go in the game. A very exciting finish to this game, I'm sure, as it's a 2-goal game with 2:30 to go. And there's Muth's goal as she just tipped it home and got it past Weiss. And now the pass to Tice along the near side of the pool, and Mustangs will continue with possession. Tice sends it to the winger, and 2:14 to go in this game. A long shot by Tice. Rosalinda Rivera tips it wide, and she'll now take over possession. 6 saves on the contest for Rivera. 2 minutes and counting to go. 7-5 the score. Rivera passing up to Zartman. Zartman over to Muth. Muth's going to continue with possession. Muth sends it all the way over to Wyden. Wyden has to catch up with the pass. And she has 5 seconds on the shot clock. And she's going to turn it over. And they're going to actually give it to North Penn. And now a timeout called by the Knights. And with 1:41 to go in this game, Knights up 7-5. They just called another timeout. And when we break from timeout, North Penn will start with possession. And so Tham to start it for the Knights. The lone Knight. And she only had 2 seconds to work with, so she dumped it to the corner. Mustangs take over. And Weiss has it with 1:40 on the clock in this game. Weiss passing up to 7, Enriquez. Enriquez sends it down to 13, Navanai. And Navanai to continue with possession. She'll send it back to the point. And back to Navanai. Takes a quick shot over the net. North Penn takes over with 1:26 to go in the game. Rivera for the Knights. And Rivera with the clock winding down to 1:08. She's just going to hold it until she's rushed by the Mustangs. And now she'll send it off to Gillespie. They have 7 seconds on the shot clock. And Gillespie is going to continue with possession. And now just dump it to the corner. Under a minute to go. 56 seconds to be exact on the clock. 7-5 the score. Knights in the lead. And now the pass from Weiss up to Tice. Defended by Tham, forces the turnover, Tham that is, and North Penn takes over with 42 seconds to go in the game. Tham's just gonna hold on to it, let the shot clock run out. And now pass it back to Rivera. 18 on the shot clock. Rivera has it for the Knights. Up to Kerper. Kerper's gonna continue with possession. 25 on the game clock, over to Wyden. Wyden has 8 on the shot clock. She's going to keep it. And now just dump it to the far corner. And a timeout called by the Mustangs with 15 seconds left on the game clock. And there's Rosalinda Rivera on your shot. She's a senior goalie for the Knights. She has 6 saves so far in the contest. Another outstanding performance by Rivera. Now both teams retake the pool. 15 seconds to go. Shot clock unplugged. 7-5 to score in the fourth quarter. And it's going to be Weiss to start it for the Mustangs, passing up to 14, Gerhard. Gerhard's pass over to Tice. Tice down to the winger. Mustangs will continue with possession. It's Kubrick, and now they turn it over to the Knights. And with 3 seconds on the clock, that's going to wrap up this game in the semifinals. And there's the final buzzer. North Penn takes it 7-5 over the Mustangs. And so North Penn will advance to the state championship game tonight at 7:30, and they'll face either Cumberland Valley or Wilson here at the Rick Carroll Natatorium. And what an amazing performance by the Knights. Hard-fought game from both sides. Just North Penn prevails in the end off a strong leadership by seniors Rosalind Rivera, Maeve Wyden, and Maddie Kerper alongside Claudia Pham. So let's take a look at the goals. Wyden started things off with a 5-meter shot goal for the Knights with 5:54 left to go in the first quarter. Then Kerper struck with 2 goals, 2:28 to go in the first quarter. Following that, 1:51. And before the first quarter ended, Gerhard put one up for the Mustangs. That was 3-1 at the end of 1. Into the second quarter, Naga was the only goal scorer with 3:31 to go in the second quarter. And that score was 3-2 at halftime. Following that, we had Kerper put the Knights up 4-2. Following that, Gerhard and Wyden, and then back to Gerhard as they went shot for shot in the third quarter. 5-4 the score at the end of 3. And then in the fourth, it was Claudia Pham putting the Knights up 6-4. Following that, Noggle put it at 6-5, and Muth put it away at 7-5. Claudia Pham, the game-winning goal for the Knights. So North Penn to enter the state championship game tonight at 7:30. We hope you tune in on either North Penn Television or come out to the Rick Carroll Natatorium as North Penn versus either Cumberland Valley or Wilson tonight at 7:30. And that's going to wrap things up here at the Rick Carroll Natatorium and the semifinals game. North Penn beats Governor Mifflin 7-5 in the semifinals game. For North Penn Television, I'm Jake Lobrecht, bringing you everything North Penn. We're say so long, and thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in at 7:30 for the state championship game.